In this presentation, I'll present some interesting data and trends surrounding the 2019 to 2020 Premier League season. The Premier League is the top-ranked professional soccer league in the United Kingdom and comprises of 20 teams who play each other twice home and away. Teams get 3 points for a win, 1 point for a draw, and 0 for a loss, and the team with the most points at the end wins the league. I got this data from FBref.com, a popular sports statistics website. I calculated the amount of 90-minute periods any given player played during the season, and I also calculated the amount of goals and assists per 90 minutes played for any given player. To start the analysis, I want to go through the age ranges of players in the Premier League during the 2019 to 2020 season. Most players were between the ages of 25 and 28 years old, with those ages being considered the prime ages to play soccer. After the age of 30, there's a steep drop off in players that still play because they're getting too old and their careers are starting to decline. The Premier League is known to generate large sums of money every year, but how does this affect the teams? I wanted to see which teams in the league had the most money, so I created this chart with the top 10 teams with the highest weekly wage bills. Manchester United ended up having the highest weekly wage bill with over €3 million being forked out a week as salary to their players. On the topic of money, I wanted to see if the money a player earned affected their performance. Here's a regression comparing a player's weekly wage and the amount of goals and assists they registered during the season. While there's a slight positive correlation between weekly wages and goals and assists per 90 minutes, that relationship is only moderately strong, as identified by its 0.55 R squared value. I want to note that this data set only includes midfielders and forwards because defenders and goalkeepers aren't likely to score goals. Goals and assists are the top stats for soccer players. When looking at the amount of goals and assists a player got grouped by their position, as expected, players with more advanced positions in the midfield and attacking areas on average registered more goals and assists. An average outfield player in the league can expect to score between 3 and 4 goals in a season. This can change depending on the team you play for. For example, a player who played for Liverpool, who came in first in the Premier League in the 2019 to 2020 season, averaged around 7 goals and assists. However, a player who played for Norwich, who came in last in the Premier League that season, averaged 1.5 goals and assists. A new and emerging stat in soccer analytics is expected goals, which is a metric that measures the probability of a shot resulting in a goal. Does a player's expected goals have any influence on the amount of goals that the player actually scores? Well, as expected, a higher expected goals count is very highly correlated with the amount of goals a player actually scores, as you can see by its 0.89 R squared value. XG has become a major metric used to compare players and teams in the last few years, which is why I thought it was important to bring about this data. Bookings, or yellow or red cards, are a stat that the league, coaches, managers, and more take seriously due to disciplinary reasons. I want to see which position on the field racked up the most yellow cards, and, as expected, defenders were first, followed by midfielders, followed by forwards. But does the amount of games a player plays affect the yellow card frequency? Well, I made a regression between appearances and yellow cards for each player, and the 0.665 R squared value shows a somewhat strong correlation between the two. To summarize the observations made, the amount of goals and assists a player or a team gets during a season can be gauged in different ways. Usually, a team who has a higher position on the table scores more goals, and players who are paid more are slightly likelier to perform better, especially attacking players. The expected goal statistic is also a very good indicator of the amount of goals a team or player actually scores. And bookings seem to have interesting connotations, being affected by the amount of games a player plays